مرحبا بكم جميعا. أنا الدكتور محمد أسامة الرشدان من قسم الطب النفسي. الموضوع اليوم عن the psychophysiology of eating. The slides were prepared by Dr. Radwan Bani Mustafa, but I will be presenting the lecture to you today. So the psychophysiology of eating focuses on how biological mechanisms and psychological factors would usually interact to regulate hunger, eating behavior, and body weight. Understanding these mechanisms is very important, not only for psychology, but also for medicine in general, especially as it pertains to conditions such as obesity, eating disorders, and metabolic diseases. Hunger is a powerful biological drive. In situations of semi-starvation, people often report that much of their thinking and even dreaming revolves around food and eating. This happens because depletion of nutrients activates homeostatic mechanisms that attempt to restore energy balance by mobilizing stored nutrients. When these mechanisms are insufficient, the body shifts into a state that strongly motivates food-seeking behavior. Hunger signals can be internal, such as stomach discomfort and weakness, or external signals, such as the sight, smell of food, habits, and social cues. Regulation of food intake is essential for survival, so it is controlled by multiple homeostatic systems. The hypothalamus, located at the base of the brain, plays a central role. It has extensive connections with other parts of the central nervous system and a very rich blood supply, allowing it to monitor the chemical state of the blood. Two key hypothalamic areas influence eating are the lateral hypothalamus, which initiates eating, and the ventromedial hypothalamus, which inhibits eating. The short-term regulation of eating is influenced by immediate physiological variables. These include blood glucose level, sensation of stomach fullness, and the body's temperature. For example, low blood sugar or insulin injections increase food intake, while glucose administration suppresses eating. The hypothalamus contains glucose-sensitive cells called glucoreceptors, which respond to the rate at which glucose passes through them. Importantly, the VMH, which is the ventromedial hypothalamus, and the LH, which is the lateral hypothalamus, respond differently to changes in blood glucose. Digestion is relatively slow, so eating usually stops before food is fully converted into glucose. A full stomach sends signals to the brain indicating that food is on the way. Experimental studies show that when food is placed directly into the stomach of hungry animals, they eat less. Conversely, if food is removed from the stomach of a satiated animal, it will eat again to compensate. This suggests that stomach distension activates the VMH and inhibits further eating. Any empty stomach usually produces rhythmic contractions known as hunger pangs. These contractions stimulate the lateral hypothalamus, and help initiate eating. Body temperature also plays a role in short-term appetite control. Most humans and animals eat less in warm environments and more in cold environments. Cooling the brain increases food intake, while warming the brain decreases intake. The lateral hypothalamus responds to low brain temperature, whereas the ventromedial hypothalamus responds to higher brain temperatures. Long-term regulation of eating aims to maintain a relative stable body weight over time. In animals, body weight is remarkably consistent. In human beings, this regulation is more complex because eating is strongly influenced by emotional and social factors. The hypothalamus appears to regulate a long-term weight set point, adjusting food intake to stabilize body weight over extended periods of time. Animal studies provide strong evidence for hypothalamic involvement in weight regulation. In rats with a damage to the VMH, they tend to overeat and become obese until they reach a new stable weight. If their diet is restricted, they lose weight, but they regain it when allowed to eat freely again. Even when force-fed to become extremely obese, they later will reduce the intake to return to their previous obese weight. This suggests the presence of a defended body weight set point. Certain signals related to body weight influence the VMH, including the circulating fatty acids. In contrast, lesions of the lateral hypothalamus will cause animals to stop eating and drinking, but only temporarily, and they may even die without artificial feeding. Over time, these animals resume eating, but stabilize at a lower body weight. These findings show that the VMH and the LH have reciprocal effects in regulating the body weight set point. Although the hypothalamus plays a critical role, a critical regulatory role, it does not really work in isolation. There are other brain areas that include the limbic system, the brainstem nuclei that are involved in taste and smell. These also contribute to eating behavior. Therefore, the hypothalamus is better viewed as a key link between higher brain centers and lower physiological control systems, rather than a simple feeding or satiety center. Obesity is a major health problem worldwide. It was once commonly believed to result mainly from unresolved emotional problems. However, research has not identified a specific personality type associated with obesity. Modern approaches focus instead on situational and environmental factors that promote overeating and on how obese individuals differ in their responses to these factors. Eating behavior is strongly influenced by responsiveness to food-related cues, such as sight, smell, and taste. Research suggests that obese individuals may be more responsive to these cues, possibly due to inherited factors. Taste appears to be particularly important, and visual cues, such as brightly lit food displays, can significantly increase intake. Overweight individuals also tend to eat more when experiencing tension or anxiety compared to normal weight individuals. Many overweight individuals are frequently dieting, often more so than normal weight individuals. Research distinguishes between restrained eaters who consciously restrict food or their food intake, and the unrestrained eaters, regardless of their body weight. Paradoxically, restraint can sometimes increase sensitivity to food cues and contribute to overeating under certain conditions. So what about exercise and eating? Energy expenditure is a critical component of weight control. It depends on general activity and exercise, as well as the basal metabolic rate, which represents the energy required to maintain basic bodily functions. Basal metabolism accounts for about 2/3 of energy expenditure in normal weight individuals. In overweight individuals, energy expenditure is relatively reduced because fat tissue has a lower metabolic rate than lean tissue or muscle tissue. During food deprivation, metabolic rate decreases even further, making weight loss more difficult. Although physical activity accounts for about 1/3 of total energy expenditure, it plays a particularly important role in weight control for overweight individuals. Exercise supports weight loss by using up or burning calories and by helping normalize metabolic regulation. As far as behavior modification and weight control, behavior modification focuses on increasing awareness of the factors that lead to overeating and actively changing them. Strategies in behavioral modification include keeping a daily record of eating behavior. The evidence suggests that combining behavior therapy with medication produces better results than either approach alone. While short-term weight loss is relatively easy, long-term success depends on sustained self-control and behavioral change. In conclusion, obesity results from a complex interaction of genetic, metabolic, psychological, and environmental factors. The relative importance of these factors varies between different individuals. Despite this complexity, effective weight control is possible in most cases when biological understanding is combined with behavioral and lifestyle interventions. Thank you for your attention, and the key takeaways from the lecture is that eating behavior and body weight are regulated by integrated biological and psychological systems, not simply by willpower alone. Stay healthy. Thank you.